Heyo, Lee here. Going to teach you how to use Solidworks today. This is a beginner's tutorial in the sense that I'm teaching you techniques that may not be the best way to do it, but are probably the fastest way to learn how to do basic things in SolidWorks. The video that will follow this will teach you proper technique. This video will just be sort of more like an introduction. We're going to make a cufflink. It's going to be designed non-parametrically. Here we go. So start a new file, open choose just the part template that's built into SolidWorks. All sketches are sketched on planes and surfaces. I use quick commands. It's a right mouse button that allows you to select these sketch tools. Start drawing our cufflink. So I'm just going to throw in one dimension just so that we're in the right scale, sort of. Let's say this is a 3 centimeter cufflink. And so now we're kind of in the right scale, so I'm just going to eyeball everything from here on in. So that looks about right. I'm cool with that. And I like to do everything symmetrically. So you notice I'm snapping to the origin for pretty much everything. And you know, if I want to draw in these lines, I'm just trying to snap everything as I go, right? Try not to just leave lines dangling in the middle of nowhere. I'm using the mirror command here. So notice how everything is completely symmetrical. And I'm not really dimensioning really anything. I'm just capturing more or less what I want this thing to look like. So I'm gonna do that. So there's something that I'm doing right now that is actually similar to top-down design, which is I'm going to drive everything off of the sketch. So I'm going to actually make a second sketch, and I'm actually going to do what's called converting entities. So that line is now in this sketch, and if I exit it and I hide the original sketch, as you can see here, you'll see that that line's still there, and that's because I've literally copied the sketch from sketch 1 into sketch 2 for the outer shape here. And it's now the same. So if I were to edit it in sketch 1, it'll update in sketch 2. So, and we're going to extrude now. You can press the extrude button first and then select a sketch, which is what I just did. You don't have to put in dimensions for this either. You can just like click and drag. So let's just make it look like that. That looks fine to me. And you can select surfaces to make sketches. And in this case, I'm going to turn my skeleton back on so I can just copy stuff. So let's select the whole thing here on the outside and do another convert entities. And I don't actually have to exit the sketch either. I can actually go and extrude straight from there, which I find to be rather convenient. Again, we're not putting in dimensions. We're just capturing basic shapes here. So now things are starting to look a little funny because the sketch is in the background, so it's hard to see. But if that's the case, you can just hide the sketch and you can kind of see things much better now. In this case, I'm just going to sketch back on, and we'll sketch on this surface here. And in this case, you know, some people find this confusing when you're in isometric mode. So if that's the case, you can always do a normal to on the view, and now you're kind of in a perpendicular to the surface you're sketching on. So we're going to select these little guys here now on the outside. We're going to select them all, and we can always trim things afterwards. It's no big deal if you select all those and convert them. So I think we should have gotten them all there. Oh, but it looks like we're missing some. So let's grab these guys here again. I'm pressing the control button to select multiple entities. That's pretty standard in Windows, but I thought I'd mention that anyway. So we can now trim. Why don't we actually, before I do that, why don't I actually hide this here? Okay, so now you can see that that's just the converted entities. Now we can trim. I call this is called the power trim tool. So you can literally go through and just blast away. Oh, it looks like oh, that's why. It looked like that was a line. So, yeah, the entities which do not belong to the active sketch cannot be deleted. Okay, so for some reason that looked a bit like a line. I bet you if I switched over to this, it'd be more clear. Yeah, there. Now you can see quite clearly that that's sketch and that's not. But when you have this mode on here, this is called shaded with edges. Sometimes it can look like there's a black line there, even though there isn't. So we're gonna work in shaded only just for a little while here to keep things nice and simple. So we're in the sketch. We're gonna do another extrude, and then again we're just gonna drag it out, right? So grab that guy, pull them out. That looks about right for a cufflink. I'm fine with that. Accept that. And then we're going to draw on this surface here and just throw in like a little something here. That looks good to me. We're doing what's called an extruded cut. Go through everything, go through all in the direction there. And there we go. So you can see that's pretty easy to make a cufflink like that. Pretty straightforward. You can also draw multiple parts within the same part, or sorry, multiple bodies within the same part. And that's what I'm going to do now. So we'll go into the right plane, and I'm going to go to rectangle again, and we'll do it like this. We'll throw in a little guy like that. Actually, no, I take that back. Let's actually use this guy again, and we'll center it on the circle there. Okay. So that looks fine to me. And when we extrude this, actually, because I've sketched on the right plane there, it's kind of in between, and everything's nice and symmetrical. When I extrude this, there's a number of different ways of doing it. I've shown you blind extrudes, but you can also do this thing called mid-plane, which will keep everything nice and symmetrical. But actually, what I really want is offset from surface. So let's do this. Let's offset it from this surface here. And right now it's a bit confused. We'll put in a number. We'll say 1 millimeter, and we'll reverse the offset. And now it's actually 1 millimeter off of that surface, which is kind of convenient. Oh, we'll try it one more time. There we go. That's what I want. And you can do it in the other direction as well. We'll do 1 millimeter again. This got to go to offset from surface again. In this case, we might have to click reverse. I'm not sure. Oh, it just got angry at me because it doesn't know what the surface is. Oh, there we go. All right, everything's happy now. Bingo. Okay, so now we have this thing that looks a lot more like a cufflink. And if we want to throw a dowel through there, that's pretty easy to do too. We'll sketch on the right plane again. And we could have captured all this in a sketch, of course, but you know, whatever. So, and in this case, I probably want a dowel that's like smaller than the hole. I'm going to turn my edges back on, and so I can kind of eyeball that if I want. But I can also, I think I can also dimension off of this as well. When I'm perpendicular to the plane, you should be able to do this. Yeah, there you go. You can. Yeah. Okay, great. So we'll just make that like 0.1 millimeters or something. So that's only possible when you're perpendicular to the surface to dimension off of things like that. And generally speaking, it's better to dimension off of a sketch, like a master sketch. But that works too anyway. It's kind of a bad habit. So, but just so you know, you can do that. Okay, great. So we're gonna make that thing like a dowel rod or whatever. So let's blow that up. Yeah, sure, something like that. Okay, well maybe what we'll do is we'll just do up to surface, and you know, and then it's kind of weird. It's actually a little bit angry at me. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, direction 2, up to surface, and it looks like they both turned yellow, and you can see there it is. So let's let that rip, and there you go. There we have our cufflink. It's just that easy to do. And if you want, you can save this whole thing and call it Cufflink. Sure, there we go. Well, I already got one in here, so we'll call it Cufflink 2. And you can do this really cool thing where you grab bodies and you can actually save them. So you can go File, you go into your actual solid bodies here. And as you can see, we only have 2. And you can actually insert these into new parts. So there's one of them, and we're just going to call that. We'll call that the I don't know, the spur or the shaft, or maybe the button. I don't know. I'm not sure what the right terminology is. Save all. Great. And we'll do the same thing for Cufflin. For Cufflin 2. We'll insert that into a new part as well. And we're going to save that as the clasp. Sure, clasp. Sounds good to me. Save all again. And now we can actually create a new assembly. And this will be kind of a neat little thing for you to learn as well, where you just click on the parts, throw them in there, do that again, insert component, new part, and we'll throw the clasp in as well. And now you get to learn how to mate. So mating is fun. We all love mating. There you go. Easy as pot. So the advantage of this is that you now have a working assembly. There's many different ways of doing it. This is one of the most basic ways. It's really not the right way, but it definitely works. Now we can move things around. You can do all sorts of cool things, like you can do motion studies where you go into the whole thing and you literally just add a motor. Want to add a motor to this guy right here, and we can just say, okay, turn that motor at, I don't know, 30 RPM, and it's really that simple. You go okay, and this should work. You should be able to just, yeah, well, there you go. See, it's that easy. Isn't that neat? You can just sort of very quickly do things like that. So that's it. That's all I have to teach you today. There's your 10-minute tutorial on SolidWorks.